Hello, my name is Amina, and today I'm going to be talking about mental health, a topic that is very close to my heart. So, 10 years from now, my mom was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and ever since, my life has been very different. I was very young, and it was very hard for me to come to terms with this illness. I didn't understand what it meant. But as I grew older, I learned more about her illness. I learned to take care of her. And in this process of caretaking for my mother, I learned a few things about mental illnesses and human minds in general. So I've seen that human minds can be so complex, and it is so difficult to understand a person. So imagine someone who is suffering from an illness of the mind. How must they feel? They must feel like no one understands them. So I understand the suffering that comes with mental illness, although I haven't personally been affected by it. So what I've seen is that we are very privileged, like me and my family, that we have been able to afford mental care for my mother. Like, we have been able to afford the hospital bills, the medicine. But when I was working in this non-profit organization called Banglar Pathshala, I saw that a lot of poor people did not even understand what a mental illness is. Like, what does it even mean? And not only that, there is another aspect to it. The fact that they cannot even afford it, even if they have a mental illness. So if we try to look at mental illness, like the socioeconomic side of it, we see that a lot of these poor people, not only are they unaware, but they also don't have accessibility to to the healthcare industry where they can get help. So I would like to propose a solution for this. I think the way we can really sustainably help people with mental illnesses is by raising awareness. Yes, that is a given. We must speak about it. But more than that, the government needs to make sure that they are financially supporting these mentally ill people, because they do not have the money like us. They're not as privileged. So it's not just ignorance. They're living day to day. They can barely earn money to eat. How do you think they will go on the internet and research about mental illnesses and get help? They don't have these resources. So we must provide these resources to these poor people, to these underprivileged people who do not have access to these. And so I would ask the government to take initiative to not only financially support them, but also mentally support them. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So how can I cope up with social criticism and live in a peaceful mind?
Social criticism. Okay. I think in our day-to-day lives, we will always get criticism. There's no way we can avoid criticism. People are gonna judge you. People are gonna say things to you that you won't like. But you need to take the positives and ignore the negatives. So if they're telling you something constructively, like a constructive criticism, that is good. Constructive criticism is good. But people who are putting you down, who are telling you that you cannot do something that you're passionate about, you have to ignore those people. So you need to make sure you take in the good and ignore the negative.